Sup guys, Carnage here. We're playing here on Dragons Gaming, Lost Redemption Dragons Gaming server. I thought I'd give you guys a quick overview of the reworked Primal Fear Kibble system. Just to give you guys an idea of how the new Kibble and taming works. Right, so in the Primal bench we've got the new kibbles. Okay, as you can see, you're gonna start with toxic kibble, alpha, elemental, apex, and so forth. To make the first kibble, the toxic kibble, you will need 1 dinosaur egg, fiber, narco berries, rock carrot, spoiled meat. Now, it's very important to note that the first thing you'll have to do is get a greenhouse up so that you have a constant supply of veggies. Yeah, so for toxic kibble, easiest way to get it going is to get some dodos. They produce your eggs at a very fast rate. Then you're ready to make toxic kibble. Then with the toxic kibble you can tame these guys, the toxic dodos. Remember, when you've got your dodos, to at least have 1 or 2 females and 1 male, because the females won't really produce eggs unless there's a male with them. Guess they need a bit of persuasion. Yeah. Right, so then you're sorted with your toxic eggs. With your toxic eggs you can then make your alpha kibble, and that's when you move on to these guys. You can either choose to tame a few alpha pterodons, so that you can use their eggs to make the next level of kibble, or if you have the Valguera map on your cluster like we do, you can try to get alpha Dionysus. These guys. What's nice about these guys, they're not too big, so they won't take up a lot of space, and they do come in alpha and apex, so you basically sorted for 2 levels of kibble if you have some of these guys available. Yes, so with alpha eggs you can then move on to your next kibble, is your elemental kibble. Now, as soon as people will have elemental kibble, the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna go for a griffin, like a light griffin, a fire griffin, caustic, one of those, which is all good and nice, because then you've got a higher level dino to play with. But unfortunately griffins do not lay any eggs, so it's strongly advisable to tame something like a featherlight or a Archaeopteryx or a Megaraptor that does lay eggs, so that you can produce some elemental eggs, because you're going to need the elemental eggs for the next level, which is apex kibble. As you can see, I've got a few featherlights and Archaeopteryx here. They are producing my toxic eggs. Okay, from there you've got the apex eggs that you need for the next levels. Now here's where it starts to get tricky. Up until apex kibble it's fine, you just need the egg for the previous level. But if you want to tame stuff like a light or dark griffin, they don't take the normal elemental kibble, they use advanced elemental kibble. If I can find it here. don't think I learned the engram yet. Oh, no, I did learn it. Okay. So, but after Apex Kibble, you get the special Kibble. The special Kibble is used to tame your melons, buffoons, all the weird kind of animals that don't really have a class like elemental or whatever. For that you will need alpha eggs, apex eggs, toxic eggs. So you're basically going to need all the eggs of the previous kibbles, apex blood, cooked meat, fiber, etc. to make this special kibble. So this will enable you to tame like the Melon Terras, that's quite OP, nice and fast, got nice health. Then after that one, you get the advanced elemental kibble. That is for your light and dark versions of your elemental animals. Light and dark, Archaeopteryx, Megaraptor, Featherlight, Griffin. Once again, th this kibble is going to be a bit more costly. You're going to have to use apex eggs, caustic feathers, electric feathers, fire feathers, ice feathers. The feathers obviously you get from farming animals, the elemental animals. Uh, Featherlights are usually the easiest, depending on what you're flying with. Then after then you've got the fabled kibble. Fabled kibble is pretty straightforward, but getting dinos to produce apex eggs is key. You might want to breed with apex Deinonychus to get quite a few females, because from the looks of it, after the Malin kibble, things are going to get quite expensive, especially using apex eggs. Celestial kibble. Yeah, celestial kibble, you're going to need fabled eggs. So once again, you're going to have to use the fabled kibble to tame fabled animals, like the fabled featherlight, and it has to be, unfortunately, egg-laying animals. It doesn't help if you've got a grifficorn, because grifficorn don't lay eggs. And yeah, with celestial kibble, obviously you can get your better dinos, the celestial RG, etc. That's a bit more powerful. Then lastly, your demonic kibble, bit of feathers, fabled eggs. So with the demonic and the celestial, your key ingredient is the fabled eggs. So yeah, my guess would be to get a few fabled RGs, because they're obviously egg layers, you can easily breed them, and then you're sorted to make the two top kibbles for those. Now, the other problem is with this whole rework is making saddles for these guys. Now each saddle uses, let me just get to the saddles. For Alpha instance, Alpha Styracosaurus, you can see there in the description the crafting requirements. It uses alpha hide. So you basically have to kill a lot of alphas to get their hide, because their hide is now class specific. And this hide you need to craft the saddles of these dinos that you're taming. The same with Apex. Apex, you will need Apex hide. Celestial, you will need Celestial hide, etc. So on our server we are running the upgrade station mod, and there is something very nice about the upgrade station mod. Let me just show you. In the blueprint station you have the ability to create blueprints. If you take a piece of armor that's picked up in a drop or by killing a dino, you can create a blueprint, and when you do that you will get a limited amount of resources and primal blood. which is nice. We call it the poor man's grinder. So early on in the game you can get some resources to get your base building up. But if you open the upgrade station itself and you take a piece of armor and you say salvage item, you will get part of what is used to make it, and that's an easy way to get apex hide or primal hide or whichever armor. So alpha armor, primal armor, apex armor, you can salvage in this way and get hide to make your saddles. Now unfortunately the armor, the flak armors, you cannot grind in your grinder, but you can, however, if you have saddles that you picked up and drop, if your drops or whatever is configured that you receive primal items in your drops, or if you pick up saddles when killing any of the primal animals, you can grind this saddles of that specific class, and then you will also get some hide to make the saddles for your animals. Okay, so yeah, that is just a quick run of how the new Kibble system works, and yeah, hopefully it'll assist you guys to get your stuff up and going and make things a little bit easier to understand how to progress through the levels. Okay, cool guys, cheers.